Well, we're back with your weekly Power Women segment, joined as always by Claire Brown. And I know, Claire, today we are focusing on women as caregivers, but talking specifically about maybe a group of people who are often overlooked, which is kind of our older relatives in the house. So first of all, how can women be caregivers for the entire family?
Right, and I think that the way that we do that is to make sure that we allocate time for everyone, and that includes ourselves, because we're caregivers by nature, and history has portrayed women as the caretaker role. And as we age, we fall into the sandwich generation, meaning we become caregivers for our children and our aging parents. And sometimes there's even a double and a triple sandwich where we are caring for our children and our parents in their 60s and 70s, and then our grandparents in their 80s and 90s. And I frankly fall into that right now. I have a grandmother that's 94. My parents are in their late 60s, and then I also have teenage children, and so we have 4 generations of us.
Wow, I love that example of a sandwich generation.
Yeah.
And so, you know, as we're looking towards these sandwich moms, you know, how can women better prepare to tackle this?
Well, and I think that there are many times when we as women, our roles shift, and when things shift and change, we have to monitor and adjust. And when that happens, we have to make sure that we also prioritize ourselves so that our cup isn't empty and we can make sure to pour into others. And so with women making up half of the workforce now, this stressor is magnified, and so marriages and other relationships suffer, and we tend to not care for ourselves during this time period. And women find themselves and they don't ask for help. And the world not only changes with the eventual death of their parents, but then the loss of possibly a marriage and the loss of their own identity through this season. And so you have to maintain focus on self and focus on your other relationships, and you do that by asking for help.
There you go. It is always, of course, important to ask for help. And you mentioned this season, you know, how can women better prepare for this season then, and then go through these scenarios to make sure it's the best one?
You know, that's the thing, it creeps up on us, and we don't future pace, and we just fall into it sometimes before we know it. And becoming the parent to your parents is not easy, but it is necessary to learn to take control in order to best care for others and yourself. And enlisting the caregiver support is crucial. Hiring and enlisting the help of others is what's necessary. There are many services for home care of all different levels, all different price points as well. We just have to ask. You're more resourceful than you really think you are. And making a group chat with other family members so that you're all enlisted in this as a whole together. It's not just one burden. You share the load. And then you need to make sure that you get insurance. There's insurance for a lot of these things, whether it's funeral insurance, whether it's home health insurance, whether it's long-term care insurance, whether you start creating accounts and saving for different things that will come up, just like you do for your vehicle, if you will.
Exactly. Yeah, and working together, I think, is so important.
Right.
All right, Claire, well, thank you so much for taking time again this week and today.